So would you think it's fair to say that when pole vaulters are faced with tasks, they just get over it? Y'all can use that if you want to. I'll give y'all that. She's totally changed the landscape of Canadian pole vaulting for women. I can't remember the last time she lost the Canadian Championships. She smashed the indoor Canadian record, smashed the outdoor Canadian record. And she's one of our medal hopefuls heading into the Tokyo 2020 Games. Whenever that happens. One of the best pole vaulters in the world. Canada's pole vaulting queen, Alysha Newman. Alysha.
Thanks for having me. I'm so stoked to be on here.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that. So I got a question for you. Pole vault just kind of kickstarted sports starting back. I mean, there was no sports, then all of a sudden you see these pole vaulters having competitions from across the globe in their backyards and gardens. You were in one of those competitions.
With pole vault, it's like the more experience, the more time we have, the better you become. The more failure you go through, the more no heights you go through, but it's always about getting back out and jumping again. And I think that is like number one mentality for pole vaulters is we have to keep doing it. And when something's kind of taken away from you, I feel like every single pole vaulter went beyond their expectation and found a facility to train at and wanted to compete and really put their foot out there on saying like, no, this is my life. Like I love pole vault and I want to keep it in my environment. So what do we need to do?
I came to your training venue one time and it looked self-made. Did you help to make that? You did help to make that. I used to train with a couple of pole vaulters, trained with Brad Walker, won the World Championships. I trained with Ty Harvey, won a silver medal. But anyways.
No, we're all about then.
Yeah. We had a training venue where we kind of had to build it. So we had to make I shouldn't say we, they did most of the work. But what is it about pole vaulters that causes them to have this workerman or worker woman mentality?
It's so hard. It's a very, very hard, and it's 95% mental. Bubka used to say that all the time, and he would be like, well, good thing I'm crazy. Because it was just, it's hard. It's so up here. And so if you can get past this, then you'd be great. You'd be like what Mondo is right now, and that's why he's killing it.
According to the world governing body. Oh, yes! Oh, that is the highest vault in history outdoors.
Take me through the typical trip of traveling with your poles.
Well, I mean, I am very, very fortunate. Toronto, Ontario knows who I am when I walk into Pearson Airport. I have diamond leagues and a lot of our big like street vaults. There's always someone there waiting for us to pick up our poles, and we don't really have to ever bring them on our shuttle that we're going. They take it for us right to the stadium, and then I arrive at the hotel, and usually I'll take a nap, and
Okay, can you tell me what it was like before?
Okay, so before it was like when I was first starting out, it was definitely like, these aren't allowed, they're too long. They'd bring the measuring tapes out. They'd be like, these cannot fit. They would call somebody. Then I would do my Alysha crying. This is my life and death. This is what I do. This is my career. My agents booked these on. I already prepaid for them. Throw all these things at them so they're a little scatterbrained. Would take an hour to an hour and a half. They would actually ask me to step aside a lot of times, which I always thought was kind of mean. So they have to take every single pole out of the bag, wipe them down. I guess they test for chemicals on them. Then they'll be like, okay, we have pole vault poles. And they'd be like, what's that? It was phone calls back and forth. And then they would send one person up. And then the one person looked at it and was like, I can't carry these. I'll help you. Just give me one of those vests. I'll walk them onto the plane with you guys. It was just, that's what it was before.
Hey, you have to really love the sport to be able to go through all that stuff. Just the other day, there was a meet in Lausanne. They had it out in the street, and the setup was cool. It was mad cool. But pole vaulters always have meets out in the street, in malls, subway stations. Why?
First of all, I mean, we're crazy. So you can just get that out of the way. We don't just consider ourselves track and field athletes. We consider ourselves entertainers too. Not as entertaining as like Cirque du Soleil, but it's a little bit of energy like that. People live for the split second of taking off to seeing if this man or woman is going to clear this height. And when you're in person and you're that close to the pit, you really can tell how high it is. And I think that is really cool, because I feel like a part of every single person wants that superhero feel. It's one of those, you live, breathe pole vaulting. It is such a thrill. There's so much adrenaline behind it. Every single trip down the runway is a different feeling. It's never the same. And a lot of times the pole vaulters are perfectionists. And so at the end of the day, we're striving for perfection. And it's a feeling of moment of flying and turning the impossible possibilities.
Just want to give it up for the pole vaulters. You guys are the leaders. You guys are the worker bees. You guys are the entertainers. Anyways, Alysha, respect for joining us, and do your thing leading into Tokyo.
Awesome, thank you, Anson.